Okay, joining us today on Best Dog Live is Kate from U&Pet. U&Pet delivers a suite of unique premium pet care services you won't find anywhere else. The organization is led by a team of pet experts, experienced and professionally certified to deliver premium pet care. So today I wanted to chat with Kate to learn more about their unique service offerings for pets. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. So I just want to start out with, can you share a story behind why your organization was formed to help care for pets?
Yeah, absolutely. So full disclosure, I'm not the founder. I'm merely someone who works at the organization at the company. But the founder story is pretty interesting. He himself has a very large dog, and one day apparently he was out for a walk and wondered, his dog started limping and wondered what would happen if something happened to his dog. At the time, he didn't have a vehicle, he didn't have any transport, and was like, well, I can't carry this dog. How would I get this dog to the vet? And the dog, I can't remember what type of dog it was. I want to say it was like a Tibetan Mastiff or something like that, one of the big guys. And he said he was like, well, I have to pull it in a wagon. Like, I can't get it on the metro in DC. Like, taxis, Ubers at the time weren't taking pets. He was like, what am I going to do to get this dog to the vet? What if he can't walk on his leg? And so he got back from his walk. The dog was fine. It was just something in his paw, I guess. But he got back from his walk and did some research and realized that there was a severe lacking of pet transportation services in DC. And a business idea was created. And from there, it kind of, moved from pet taxi service, which really focused on vet visits and just getting people around the city. I mean, DC isn't New York by any means where, no one has a car, but a lot of people in DC don't have vehicles and very much rely on public transportation. And so he really wanted to focus on those people. And then from there, it kind of snowballed a little bit and more services were introduced. So,
very cool.
Yeah. And thankfully his dog never actually needed to go to the vet for anything major like that. But
that's good. That is good to hear. Yeah, it's a very cool service. And so I know you offer some unique services for pets. Can you tell me a little bit about those services? I know you mentioned a little bit about transportation, but I know you also do other things.
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, it kind of started as a transportation company. The intent was, to make sure that people that didn't have access to vehicles or didn't have a vehicle themselves were able to get to the vet or get to the park or get to grandma's house. I mean, anywhere that you wanted to go, that was the main focus. The team, as demand and questions came in, they started a dog walking service. And then from the dog walking service, it kind of snowballed into, well, hey, can you watch my dog? Like, we really enjoy, this person, like, can that person stay over and take care of my dog? So U&Pet kind of snowballed from the transportation service all the way down to, focusing on various aspects of dog sitting and dog boarding. So they have multiple options. We have multiple options. We can do in-home care, which is, the pet sitter would go into your home and they would be in your home 24 hours, give or take. Obviously, you might need to step out or whatnot. I mean, that's expected, right? But 24-hour care for your pet in your own environment. So this is really good for puppies. This is really good for dogs that might be anxious or separation anxiety or something like that, or maybe that need medicine or, elderly dogs. And also just like owners that prefer their dogs to be at home. And then there's also the option of out of home dog sitting, which would be where the dog goes into a pet sitter's house. And then there's also U&Pet has a waterfront retreat, we call it, and it's out on the Potomac in Maryland, where you can actually have your dog interact with other dogs in a nice, wooded, secure area right on the Potomac. So there's various dog sitting and dog boarding, quote unquote. I don't really like the term boarding, but you get my gist of having them, go to another place. One of the things that U&Pet really emphasizes, though, is we won't put your dog in crates unless you yourself want your dog in a crate. Like, if your dog is crate trained and you want to continue the crate training, or if your dog, must sleep in a crate or whatever it is, we 100% defer to the owners, but we will never put your dog in a crate without you telling us to. And that goes for transportation as well. We consider the dogs to be passengers, and so we'd much rather have them be transported on a seat. Now, if we're transporting cats, very different story. Cats, are typically in carriers, etc. And then we also do assist with pet shipping, but that's not something that's, I wouldn't say it's our major focus, so to speak, but we do have the background in what is needed to ship your dog to another country or have your dog shipped to this country or various other states. Kind of a summary of what the services look like right now.
Gotcha. Thank you. I was reading that, on your transportation services, because I think there are other folks who do that as well, but I thought there was some sort of thing that was a little bit more unique about you in the sense that you not only take the pet, but also the passenger. I guess some services
Absolutely.
don't take the passenger too. That seems strange, but.
Correct. Yeah. So we consider humans or owners unpaid passengers. So we're not actually paying for you to ride along. And the focus is on the pet. But it's been awesome to have this service available, especially in the DC area with all of the diplomats or State Department, USAID, et cetera, folks that are, moving overseas with their families and, trying to coordinate these airport rides and making sure that everyone can go. So.
Very cool. No, that's a great service. I also was wondering, you mentioned on the website about the training of your staff, how they're, specifically trained to take care of pets. So I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, what kind of training they have, what kind of skills they have.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the ways that we wanted to separate ourselves from other companies is we really wanted to ensure the safety of both the pet and also the individuals. Anyone can claim that they know something about a dog, or they owned a dog, or they did XYZ with a dog, or a cat. Pick an animal. But for right now, I'm just talking about dogs. We really wanted to make sure that everyone that came on as a U&Pet driver, as a U&Pet sitter, as some sort of affiliation of U&Pet, that they at least knew the basics about dogs. So we have a school. It's called U&Pet School, and it's hosted on Teachable, which is an online, what is it called? It's like a learning platform of sorts where you can set up courses and stuff, and these are all for free. So it's anyone that signs up to be part of U&Pet, they would get an opportunity to go through. Not an opportunity; they're mandatory to go through these courses. We are hoping to fill the platform with other courses that they aren't mandatory, but in niche areas if they want to learn more about different areas of pet care and whatnot. But there are 3 courses right now. They don't take too long to go through, so it's not like a huge time commitment, but it also says a lot about the person that they're willing to go through the commitment of training. The first course is just an introduction to dogs and caring for dogs. So learning the basics on how to greet a dog, how to prepare your home for a dog, how to, what to ask the owners and whatnot about the dog before you start caring for the dog, making sure that there's no wounds or lesions, or, there's nothing that you shouldn't know, making sure that you get all the information up front, having their vet information, all of that stuff. How to walk a dog, how to the differences between collars and harnesses, and when they're used, simple basic, I want to say basic information about just dog care. The second course is a 2-part course, and it's on safety. So this is what happens if 2 dogs fight, what happens if you get bit by a dog, how do you perform dog CPR, or canine CPR, how do you I'm trying to think, what are the vaccinations that are required? What are different, diseases that affect dogs? At what age should they get vaccinated? That type of thing. So you can kind of, see exactly what to do in situations where, something has happened and now you're just unsure what to do. So we just wanted to we want our, and how to handle a dog. That's a big one. Sorry, I missed that one. How to handle a dog. Obviously, if you're a driver, anyone that drives a car could be well, hey, I'm going to work for a, transportation company, right? You get your background vetted and whatnot, but I'm going to hop in a car, but not everyone knows how to handle a dog in a car or handle a pet in a car. And there's different areas that also talk about working with puppies and working with elderly. More often than not, it's you know, heed to the owner, listen to the owner knows your dog, but it's just basics of, you know, I think one of the biggest things, at least for me in my personal experience, if I have a dog that is not friendly on leash, let's say that, you know, they're skittish or whatnot, and people are really excited to meet that dog or meet, you know, come and say hi, like, how do I handle that situation? So we're trying to set our team up for success to mitigate any possible risks of anything happening. Obviously, we can't control the uncontrollable, right? But
Sure.
you know, at least we can try to put stop gaps in there to inform and, you know, have our folks at least thinking about things that could potentially happen.
No, that's great. Is that training that you know, your organization has developed, or are you using other people's training, or?
So we developed it. Obviously, you know, anything that came from a source, you know, we cite the source of, like, we pulled some information like vaccines and whatnot from, you know, like AKC or that type of thing. And obviously we'll cite the sources as needed, but it's, you know, the founder and some of the other individuals, they're all certified trainers, like have gone through classes, are certified, have done training in the past. And so some of it is based off of their experience, you know, some of it is just common knowledge, you know, integrated in. And then another big piece, which I forgot about the training, and this is just super important for anyone, I think, not even if you're not working with dogs, but just I mean, dogs are everywhere, is how to read their body language. So we have a big section on just reading their posture and reading their language and what it means. Because a lot of things can be avoided if you just understand, hey, that dog, he's on the offense, or hey, that dog, he's on the defense. Like, you know, let's distract. So, you know, like you said, it is pulled from some areas, but, you know, like medical terminology and stuff, we're not going to pretend we're doctors, you know, so, you know, we're pulling that. But, you know, like I said, we cite and source everything that was pulled externally.
No, very cool. Yeah, that's a huge differentiator for you, I think, is, yeah, like all, you know, I've fostered before, and when you put the dog in the car, it's you definitely, the first time, if you've never done it before, it can be a fairly quick learning experience about the things you need to do.
Exactly.
When the dog is in the front seat with you all of a sudden, so it's
exactly.
Huge value prop there. I was also wondering, you know, since you do have these interesting services, the boarding and the transportation, I was wondering if you had come across any like interesting or funny stories with you know, while you were transporting or caring for a dog.
Yeah. So it's funny because they all kind of, like, I don't want to say they all blend together. That's terrible, because like every client should stick out, right? But they all kind of blend together. No, I think the most heart touching story that I can recall, you know, that really sticks out to me, less so funny, but just kind of pulled at your heartstrings, was we had this client, and his dog was a hound mix, or is, I assume he's still alive, right? A hound mix, and he's blind. And, you know, he first used our service, the dog is blind. He first used our service to bring his dog to the vet and, you know, just routine checkup and whatnot. And then, you know, I think it was like 3 or 4 rides of different vet appointments over the course of, like, let's say a year or something. I don't recall the timeline. And the same driver helped him the entire, like, all 3 times. And they ended up having this like little bond, and which is awesome. It's great when you can, you know, have that person that you can rely on. And the owner decided that the dog needed a buddy because the dog, you know, was blind and, you know, whatever. And so he set off and did this like whole thing where he sought out dog buddies for his blind hound, and called up on the driver, and the driver drove him around to like 16 different houses in the area to see if his dog would match with these other dogs to be buddies. So it was kind of like online dating for a dog, but not really to date, you know, but it was like, you know, finding a friend. And, you know, they went on this adventure over the course of like a couple months. And I would love to say that he ended up finding a friend, but I actually don't remember.
Okay.
But it was a really fun experience to hear from the driver, just like, today we met a little schnauzer, and like, you know, the other day we met a Westie, you know, or whatever. So I think that's like when I think about it, that's that's the one thing that really sticks out. I don't want to make it sound like all of our other clients just kind of like blend into the woodwork, but it was just such a cute little story that the owner went, you know, so in depth to try to find a friend for his blind pal.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a good owner for sure.
Yeah,
Maybe
for
that'll
sure.
be a new service for you one day,
Exactly.
matchmaking. Yeah.
Matchmaking,
Yeah.
pet matchmaking.
Yeah, you never
Take
know.
no responsibility if they do not get along.
Yeah, you definitely want to have a legal disclaimer on that one. Um, I did also I wanted to ask you about, I did take a look at, like your reviews. Obviously you've had some really good positive reviews, and I just wanted to find out, what customers are saying, what are their thoughts on the services that they've been experiencing.
Yeah, interestingly, we actually got an email this morning that the person was just like, I am so thankful you even exist. We get that a lot where it's just like, wow, this is such a creative service. Like, I'm so grateful that this is even an option. Like, thank you so much. I think more than anything, people are just excited and happy for how convenient it is. We might not have the most competitive rates, or, we might not have, that type of thing, but it's convenient and it's helpful. And, a lady called me yesterday and she was like, my dog is coming in from another country and I don't know what to do. I don't know the process. Like, how can I pick up this dog, et cetera, et cetera. And, you sit on the phone with them and you just kind of calm them down. You take the moment and you say, hey, like, we'll figure this out. Like, you don't have to be an expert in this. Like, there's a reason why we're in business, like, there's a reason why we exist. Like, let us help you. So I think it's just the convenience of it. I think moving, especially for families that are moving is stressful. Moving is hard with the pandemic and, like, people getting stuck in different countries and dogs and pets getting left behind and whatnot. It's been a very stressful year. And I think it's just the convenience of it all.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, I guess it's, you can say that you do transportation and, you care for the pet, but there's all these nuances that you just sort of walk through that are the specialties that really make a huge difference when someone can help you with them. It's definitely worth,
sure.
I think for most pet owners, I would imagine that's like definitely worth the extra money not to have to worry about all those situations. So
Exactly.
can definitely see why they'd be happy that you guys are around.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to also ask you about, obviously I think the way that you talked about it, you've had a couple services, you're evolving new services. So I just want to see, hey, what does the future potentially look like? Do you have new services that may come out, or?
Yeah, so it's a really interesting question because, 2020 kind of hit us all, like a brick in the face with everything just kind of coming to a halt, and, like, everyone having to change the way that they approach everything, and businesses kind of coming around and saying, well, hey, I used to do this, but now I don't know that I can do this anymore. So same goes for us. We were already working on, an upgrade of our website, and just the way that the whole workflow kind of flows, so to speak. And, as you can see from our website, it looks, pretty manual. Like, you can book it online, but a lot of times you're going to have to reach out because you have, nuances or whatnot, or, we have clients that have been using us for a couple of years now, and they want a specific driver, or they want a specific sitter, or they want, so taking all of that into consideration, we actually created a more automated system. So it's kind of like online dating and Airbnb meets like pet care. And so we haven't, we were prepared to launch it last year, but obviously given the pandemic, it just it didn't seem like the right time to launch a new thing, especially when everyone was at home. So that should be coming soon. I don't have a date on it, so I'll just put the coming soon there. So, we didn't rebrand, it's still the same brand, but we just kind of gave an update to our website. So all of that will be launched soon. We're obviously looking, to potentially expand out outside of the Washington, Maryland, DC, Eastern Shoreboard type area. And, that was part of the intent as well. We're taking a couple steps back and reevaluating that given the circumstance, but I wouldn't be shocked to see, this roll out in other areas where there is demand and need.
Very cool. Well, that sounds very promising. We look forward to seeing how that goes in the coming weeks and months.
Perfect. And yeah, and I can keep you informed of
Yeah,
the
definitely.
rollout time.
Yeah, we would definitely appreciate that. Well, hey, Kate, I definitely appreciate all the time today. It's been
Thank you.
very educational and interesting. So thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. And if anyone, that sees this is interested in learning more, feel free to reach out. And if you want to be part of the U&Pet team, become a sitter, become a driver, own your own business. That's one of the things that we're hoping with this automated service that, the sitters and drivers will be the owners of their business. They'll be part of the U&Pet marketplace and be able to name their price and name their time and name their all of it. They'll be in full control just using our platform. So if that sounds like something interesting, reach out. Happy to set you up.
Okay, very cool. Well, thank you very much, Kate.
Of course. Thank you.